It's a time for package from China. Hey guys, welcome back to the channel. It's awesome that you're tuning in. So in this video, we're going to take a close look at the new Super Console X. So in the beginning of this year, I reviewed the Super Console X, different versions, the Pro, you name it. These things come in all kinds of form factors and sizes. But this device is the latest edition. I'm just going to call this thing the Turbo Edition. The Super Console X is basically an Android box that they reusing the old technology. And what you're going to get is like quite some possibilities to play some retro games. Then we're going to get the deluxe toilet paper manual, or it's not really like a toilet paper manual anymore, it's like a very nice high glossy manual. Explanation how you need to reconfigure things. They're doing a very amazing job with that. So then we're going to get ourselves the controller, two of them, and with these Super Console X, we're going to get mostly like the better quality controller places to knockoffs. And I'll say like everything feels kind of cheap and clickish. Oh, not to forget the smelly chest. Doesn't even smell chemical, so that says like this is a really nice controller. Work on two AAA batteries. But let's take a close look at box number 2, because there we're going to find the system itself and all the amazing goodies. So in box number 2 we are going to get all the stuff that we're going to need. Think about the power supply. It's also going to give us a hub, an USB hub, and then we're going to get ourselves the HDMI cable, just the cheap version, the system itself, and that's it. But the HDMI cable does a very short one, not really special. The USB hub, the reason they give you this is if you want to use a 4-player configuration, you're going to need this, because this thing only has a couple of USB ports. Then we're having the system itself, and for the people familiar to the channel, have seen the Super Console X, this thing is new. It's, by the way, like fully made of metal. It looks very nice. So yeah, the form factor, it's debatable if you like it or not, but it's a quite interesting concept. Here we're going to get the CF card. Then we're going to get 2 USB ports. At the back we're going to get the RJ45 Ethernet connection. The AVIO function is here, but I don't know it's functional with this one. I tried it before, it didn't work. HDMI out, input, and an on and off switch. Very pleased with this, because not all of these boxes have an AV out. Or, I mean, an on and off switch. Having a brave heart over there. But okay, so what we're going to get here are the... They're kind of going nuts with the stickers. Like, they are afraid you're going to open it up. Look at this. And I'm going to break all of them, yes, because Wicked Little loves to break the seal. But here we're going to get a very nice cooler. In my first videos I told like the problem with these things, like they're getting really hot, and it's going to be an issue in the future, but they tried to fix it with a fan. So this is what you're going to get. Of course, then we're going to get the, not to forget of course, the power supply, And the power supply, let's see, is a 12 volt 1 amp. And I think they forgot to give me like the European converter. But okay, this is what we're going to get in the inside. Okay, so we're going to get a lot of different versions when it comes to the Super Console X. And yeah, we're going to do a side-by-side comparison in the future. So this is the normal edition. Then we're going to get the Turbo Edition. The weird thing is, like, when I was looking at the advertisement, it said here 2021, but when I got it, it didn't have it. Kind of weird, like, put something like Turbo or something on it, would be like more cooler. Then we're going to get the X Pro, and yeah, I already did a couple of videos about these things, but in the future I want to do ultimate comparison. I'm curious how this thing will perform and how cool will it be, because that is the question of today. So let's boot it up and let's see what we're going to get. Okay, so let's do a quick comparison with the weight of the system. So this is the normal Super Console X that weighs 107 grams. I think the Pro will be the same amount. Yeah, absolutely, because in the internals nothing has been changed. And here we go to get the Turbo Edition. And this one weighs 171 grams. It's not a big bump up, but you can see this thing, oh yeah, it's quite heavy. Thanks to this metal fan, or the metal casing with the fan. But for the people who are not familiar to these devices, like basically this is an Android box where they put some emulate on it, the software that you can basically download yourself. Well, let's boot it up, let's see how this freaking thing sounds. Is it going to be sounding like a vacuum cleaner? Ooh, it's quite loud. Ooh. It sounds like a tiny vacuum cleaner. But okay, it's better having nothing. So it's time for the wicked nerdy time, and let's take a close look at the specs. So it comes with the S905X chip. It's similar to the Pro. Then we're going to get the CPU is a Cortex A53, that's basically in quad core. The GPU is a Mali 450MP, RAM 1GB, storage capacity SD 64GB, and the software is dual boot with Android 4 and MULEC 3.9. So it's similar to all the other Pandora boxes that we have reviewed here. But what are we going to get with this device? So basically they added MULEC to this and preset it with a lot of emulators. So what you can see over here, we can play a lot of awesome systems. So handhelds, 8-bit, 16-bit, even up to the MSX2. It plays a lot of old school stuff. But when you're looking at, for example, the Nintendo 64, there we're going to get some issues most of the time. Because these are like low power, cheap boxes. You cannot expect a lot of them when it comes to especially like PlayStation Portable, stuff like that. I know it doesn't run GameCube, Wii and stuff like that you have seen before. For that, at the moment, you need to have like a beefy PC for that. But so, for the low spec stuff, I think this is going to be quite interesting. But let's take a close look at some gaming and you'll see how actually this thing runs. Alright, so next up let's try Sega Dreamcast, a system that is running okay on this box, but it will have some issues here and there, glitches, and that's due of the Mali GPU that they're using on these cheap boxes. Oh man, I don't know what's going on, but my controller's doing some weird stuff. But the performance and overall is not bad at all when it comes to this game. I was quite surprised to see that. Okay, so next up let's try Atomus Wave. And this is just a great game to test what this thing is capable of. And when it comes to these S905 boxes, I'm just going to be honest, it's going to be a mixed performance, especially with the more demanding games when it is for the arcade. Still, it's playable, it has some like weird thing going on, glitches, stuff like that. But overall performance, it's quite good. Now you can hear like it's stuttering. Alright, so next up, time for a main game. A great example is that this game will run just fine, but I need to point out when we're trying to Mortal Kombat 2 or 3, it will run like shit. So the limitation will be Mortal Kombat 1 in my opinion, and don't even start about kill instinct, stuff like that. Yeah, stubby wobbly time. Okay, so that was a great test, like how will the D-pad work. The D-pad works fine. Okay, cheesy win, cheesy win. Flawless victory. Alright guys, so let's take a close look at N64. Yeah, N64 is always a system that will have a mixed performance with this low power chip. So the S905 chip that is inside this machine, it's still powerful enough to run a lot of N64 games, but when you're going to get into more demanding, think about GoldenEye, stuff like that, it will not run perfectly. Stuttering, glitching, you name it. It also runs on native resolution, I can just see it. It's kind of blurry like the original system. Because if you're going to get like a beefy PC, you can upscale it to higher resolutions and N64 will look really nice. But so far so good, this game runs fine. But don't even bother about trying to cruise in the USA, that the game will not run at all. Or it will be like stuttering heaven. Ooh yeah. Okay, so next up, PlayStation Portable. So when it comes to PlayStation Portable, I'm just going to say like, some games will run like a two-dimensional game like this, but you can see like it's going to be glitch heaven on the background. So PlayStation Portable, you need more power for that if you want to play like a bigger library of games. But this game seems to be running just fine. Ah, crap! Alright guys, so let's rip this thing apart. I just want to see what they created in the inside. And yes, we're going to break the seal over and over again. So the only thing that holds this shell together are 3 Parkers. Yep, that's the only thing. And they're like very long, tiny Parkers. And I'm pleased to see that they try to improve, but the downside to these things, like, we're going to get minor improvements. So like basically what they do is like adding a fan to it, but when it comes to the specs, it's still the same. Okay, so the last screw have been removed. I don't know if you can see it, but you can see like the heads of the Parkers are completely messed up, so they were very difficult to get out. Okay, so let's see what we're going to get with this gigantic beast. Okay, that is interesting. Alright, so that's a kind of weird construction. So what they did is like adding the file with this piece of metal. You can see like this has been done factory wise, because otherwise like you will see like rough cuts and stuff like that. So I would not be surprised it would be like the next level or next generation of this Super Console X. But what you're going to get on the inside is exactly the same board that we have seen with the other versions. So it's purely like cosmetic combination with a fan that they changed out. So the board is exactly the same. So we're going to get ourselves the same kind of specs. And yeah, this is actually like this thing had on board 8 gigabytes, 1 gigabyte of RAM, and that's it. Like here underneath we're going to find the chip itself. And I almost broke it. Nope, it's still here, it's still not broken. But underneath, yeah, they freaking glue these things to here, but I can tell you like this is like the same chips they're using. But overall, like this is what you're going to get in the inside, nothing really fancy if you ask me. Like here we're going to get this retro Wi-Fi antenna, stuff like that. Because these boards are made a very long time ago. Here it says like the MB-S905, yep. So old school stack with a minor upgrade. Okay, so this thing has been put back together, and now I want to remove the SD card, if I can remove this freaking seal, because I want to see what happens when we're going to boot it up with Android, if I'm going to see even Android. Sometimes they're completely reflashing. And not to forget, we're going to do an IDA64 test. Oh boy, this is going to take me forever to get this freaking thing out. Okay, so this is what you're going to get when booting up the system. It's quite disappointing. I hoped for that we can do some tinkering with it, just to see if we can install some applications, an IDA64, or for example that we can play some Android games. When it comes to the Android part, it's absolutely a yeah. So this is what you're going to get. So let's get into the final conclusion, just see what are we going to get in overall. Alright guys, so this is what we're going to get with the Super Console X. I just call it the Turbo Edition. And I must say, like, they try to improve it, but when you're looking at the specifications, it's more of the same. So it's basically a cosmetic finish, and that's it. Like, there is nothing else they changed out. I wish they like went for the full upgrade and get ourselves like more beefier specs. But yeah, it's a good way. They try to improve it here and there. But yeah, let me know in the comments what you think of this. I want to thank you for watching. Consider subscribing, hit that little bell, become one of the Wicked family. And I will see you in the next video.